Happy Wealth Wednesday, Katia. So excited to have you here and chatting about Beyond. I'd love to kick off with just a little bit about you, where you're from, and what you're building.
So I'm dialing in from Berlin, from the NFT Berlin conference and hackathon. So hence my voice. Sorry for that. Tend to lose it. Talk too much. So yeah, I'm Katia. I'm originally from Kiev, from Ukraine, and I grew up in Berlin. I also studied and worked in Spain. I've started my career in creative industries and marketing. I worked at EMI Music Publishing at Coca-Cola and then at Spotify for more than a decade, both in Spain and in Germany. And my career was always like evolving around marketing, brands, people, making brands big, communicating something to the people, like transmitting stories, and monetizing also businesses. And so I've from early on, like from my first internship at EMI Music, I decided, okay, I love creative industries, and I could never work on the content side because I have my own like music or I don't know fashion taste, which is not always what does not always correspond with the mainstream taste. So I decided I would love to be on the monetization side of things, like marketing and sales and commercial, and this is what I'm doing now and Beyond. So yeah, and I joined Web3 Space officially as a co-founder of Beyond, as a commercial co-founder in the beginning of this year. And as you said, so we are building community tech tools for community managers to give them all the superpowers of Web3 without them having to learn how to code. So what our tools allow them to have is insights into their communities, so insights and analytics, what's going on in your Discord community, who are these people, like what are they interested in, what are other communities they are part of, for how long have they been in Web3, what are like other NFTs they own. And what you can also do with Beyond is to create token-gated experiences. So once you learned about your community, you can assign different roles, or you can token-gate like certain areas of Discord or content for your NFT or token holders. And yeah, we want to empower community builders with that, with like a super easy no-code layer. We're starting with Discord because it makes sense for Web3. And we will be expanding to like other tools community managers use. And we want them to focus on what they do best, to run their communities, not to chase the developers or like freelance designers to build these tools for them.
What was your first ever investment? Do you remember, and who or what got you started?
Yeah, I think like the best investment you can always make is in yourself and in education. So I think it's in your and experiences and like emotional and well-being and health. And I guess my first ever investment was to decide to go to study in Madrid. Although I didn't know if I would receive a scholarship, I was really short on money. That was the bet in the future. And then later on, maybe accepting a job at this no-name Swedish startup and working for much less salary than my peers were doing, working for Google and Boston Consulting Group and so on back in the days. And on the other hand, like I had this stock options contract on the side, which turned out to be a really good deal 10 years later. And maybe like in a classical sense, investing. And when I started with angel investing, that was like 4 years ago, it was backing a founder with an angel ticket.
And how did you choose that founder? What convinced you that doing an angel investment would be, the next investment you wanted to make?
So I knew what angel investment was because of my Swedish bubble from Spotify. So many people started angel investing in Stockholm, and I was seeing that on LinkedIn, Instagram. I think the biggest role model was Sophia Benz, who is now partner at Cherry Ventures, and she is paving the way for many like female angel investors and VCs in Europe. So hi Sophia, if you've ever looked to watch this episode. And so big inspiration because all others were men. which doesn't matter. But I thought, okay, like Sophia is doing that. Like I know her from early Spotify days. This is kind of cool. I want to be an angel investor as well. But I don't know, it didn't find me for like a while. But then a friend of mine came to our place. We were hanging out with kids. It was like a warm summer afternoon. And he started to tell me that his former colleagues were leaving the like transport, it was like transport tech company, and they were starting a startup in that space. So he gave me a pitch. It made like sense to me, like from the background. And also it was a bit of like, yeah, we want to make this world better direction. So I thought, okay, like this is like a cool concept. They were building a mobility wallet. So instead of having a car, you could just have I don't know, like $70 monthly subscription, and you could use car sharing, Uber, public transportation, scooters. And I really like sharing economy, and I do not own a car. So I thought, okay, this is something it could help to make this world better, save the planet, and this is something I support. They have the background. I just received the sales bonus I was not counting with. So I told my friend, you know what? I want to be an angel investor. Please, like, make an intro. And I met them, and yeah, it was like good vibes, good chemistry. So I ended up investing. That was my first ticket, and I've done 7 more afterwards.
Amazing. Why did you get into the space of Web3 and now community building in Web3 after, having this great career start within the music industry?
So I didn't participate like in the first wave, but I was always aware of that. And I bought Solana pretty early because a developer friend of mine, like who's building a actually pretty cool fintech startup in Berlin now called Unstoppable Finance, he told me to do so. So I asked him, like, now I have time. Like, what should I buy? What are like the new like secret recommendations? He said, like, okay, go for Solana, and of course, like buy Bitcoin, buy Ethereum, or like experiment with like some others, like other coins. And so I did that. And a couple of years later, basically like last fall, then this metaverse and NFT explosion happened. I was at the Web Summit in Lisbon, and I realized I was in the wrong conference, because the right conference was LisCon and ETH Lisbon and Solana that happened like before and after. But I went to the right dinner parties, and like all the people that were there were there like pivoting into crypto or already like working full time for DAOs. There's like, oh my God, like I left my job at Spotify. I'm searching for my next big thing. Like this is not just about finance. Like there is this new usability layer that has to be solved. And also like Web3 is the new marketing. Like it starts with the community. That's how all the projects have started and grew like big. So this is something that perfectly fits like my interests, my skills, my network, and wow. So this is how like I got into it.
What role now do you play in the wealth space, and why is it important?
What I'm trying to do is to empower more women to just get active and I don't know, maybe participate like in the business, so support other founders. If you can't support them with an angel ticket, maybe support with an advice or network, or just get curious and yeah, get like go out there online or like IRL, involved things that are changing the world right now. And then with the wealth creation will happen automatically, I think. And you have to decide like what fits your personality type. So I really liked angel investing. It's been a practical MBA in entrepreneurship. So I could have gone to Harvard. It would have been a bit more expensive probably. But then I was honored and privileged to support all these entrepreneurs. Like my first angel ticket, all others were female founders, by the way. And so I've seen them making mistakes, having like successes, being somewhere in between and supporting them. And I've learned so much. And then I thought, okay, so this is cool. I can do it as well. You can also decide if you want to do like day trading, or if you want to, I don't know, to buy like stock. So I do that as well, more like long-term investments. But what I enjoy more is like building things and like working with people. So you have to find something you enjoy.
And what do you think has been the most exciting thing that you've learned that you would want others to know?
I think the exciting thing is that you're learning every single day. So, for example, at Berlin, I've learned that there are so many NFT lending startups now, and it's a huge market. So, if you have a Moonbird or Bored Ape, you can make it work for you. So, what I've learned is that my Axie Infinity fishes, or whoever they are just lying there in my Ronin wallet. Maybe I should lend them. I should make them work for me. So this was my the biggest learning revelation from yesterday. The big thing, yeah. And I think like you learn something every day. So just stay curious and yeah. And the biggest learning maybe in life is just to, yeah, I don't know, give first and get into things, like start doing them, start learning, start experimenting, and then you will receive that.
Is there a person or a company that inspires you in the space and why?
Romina Bungert. She's the CFO at Centrifuge right now, and she's been in crypto space since very beginning. So it's we're friends now, and she's my reference for like when I feel like I'm a newcomer and I'm learning, I'm freshman, and then I can always like go back to her like for some OG stories or like references. So and you should definitely have her also here on the on this podcast. She's amazing.
And finally, like what advice would you give to somebody getting started?
Decide like what you're interested in, because so the good thing is it's so broad now, it's so diverse, so you can pick what's interesting for you. For example, like in my Notion links, so there are like 3 books I really liked, so they are so not just like reading like some dry white papers. Yeah, you can do that, but then I think it's really cool to have like like a movie in your head, read the story. So I really like The Infinite Machine by Camilla Rousseau. It's like really good onboarding into Ethereum and the early days and what's happening with Kings of Crypto. And I think the third one was Digital Gold. So I, for example, like into books and start with that, and then like I don't know, Google the names, and or maybe if go to the conferences or to the meetups, or maybe you like podcasts, or maybe I don't know, people enjoy more like the kind of DeFi trading and staking and so on. So get into that, or just if you're a gamer, like I don't know, follow the play to earn path. So I think this is like the luxury now. So it's not 15 years ago where you just buy, cryptocurrency, that's it. So you can do so many things. Just pick what's what interests you the most and give it a try.
Totally. Well, thank you so much. How can we follow you and your story and also what you're building with Beyond? What's the best way for people listening to keep in touch with your journey?
Yeah, so I'm on Twitter. It's Katia Yakov. It's been spelled KATIAYAKOV, but I can send it as well. So my Twitter handle is also my handle on Telegram, which is handy. Like feel free to reach out directly. I'm mostly based in Europe, in like in the main hubs in Berlin, Lisbon, Paris, London. Sometimes I will be spending a couple of months in the US, also like New York or San Francisco and LA in the next years for sure. So you'll find me at NFT conferences, but also you can find me on LinkedIn. And also I have a podcast if you are based in Europe and if you're interested in like female business angels, prominent female business angels, shaking up the investment scene here and helping other founders. I have a podcast on Spotify and Apple. It's called Female Business Angels Podcast. Very easy.
Very easy. We'll definitely be looking at all here and following along. So excited to also start using Beyond and staying in touch. Thank you so much for joining today and sharing your story. Such an inspiration.
Thanks, Alana.